Hi there, my name is Franny and I'm going to take you through a yoga sequence. But before we begin that, I'd like to talk about our breath a little bit and the importance of that, because there's so many things that happen to us in our life, whether it's school or work, and especially in dealing with type 1 diabetes, that we just don't have any control over. And the one thing that we always have control over is our breath, and we can always take that with us wherever we go. So let's begin by doing a breathing exercise that was developed by Dr. Andrew Weil, and it's called the 4-7-8 breath. So we're going to inhale quietly for 4 breaths, we'll hold that for 7, and then we'll exhale audibly for 8. And we're gonna do that 3 cycles. So I'll walk you through it. First, start by taking a seat, getting nice and comfortable, roll your shoulders back a few times, and then close your eyes. And first take an inhale and an exhale to empty your lungs. And now we'll begin. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale audibly for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last round, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can open your eyes, and again, just roll your shoulders back a few times. And you can practice this breath, obviously, wherever you are, whenever you feel like you need it. And it basically allows our lungs to fill up with oxygen, and it is a tranquilizer for the nervous system. So from here, we're actually going to come into a standing pose. And now you're going to stand on your mat with your feet about hip distance apart and feeling like your feet are really grounded into the mat. So when people say that, it really means just to feel like all 4 corners of your feet are equally weighted on the mat. So by doing that, you can lift your toes up off the mat, and then feel all 4 corners, the front, left, and right, and then the heel, left and right, are all equally weighted. So from here again, we're gonna roll our shoulders back a little bit. Inhale, bring your arms up over your head, and then we're gonna grab onto our right wrist with our left hand. So take an inhale here, nice and long, and then we're gonna exhale over to the left. So you're gonna feel a really good stretch all on the right side of your body. And then we'll inhale up to center and just switch grips. So now you're gonna grab onto your left wrist with your right hand. Get length there, use your hand to get really nice and tall. And then we're gonna exhale over to the right this time, and you're gonna feel that great stretch all along the left side of your body. So from here we'll come up, and then arms down. So now we're gonna come into some vinyasas, which is really a flow where we'll come down to the mat and then come back up again. But we're gonna do that with our breath. So inhale, arms up over your head, and then we're gonna exhale into a forward fold. From here, we're just gonna step back into a high plank or push-up pose, and then we're gonna come all the way down to our bellies. Let the tops of your feet rest on the mat, and then inhale, bringing your shoulders and low ribs off the mat. Exhale, coming down. And then we're just gonna inhale into that high plank, that push-up pose again. And from here, we're just gonna let our hips go towards the back of the room. So you're pressing into your palms, you're pressing into the fingertips. Let your head rest so that your neck isn't strained. And then from here, we're slowly gonna just walk in towards our hands. And then with your knees bent, we'll come back up to a standing pose. Okay, so we're gonna do that again. Inhale, arms up over your head. Exhale, come into a forward fold. From here, we're gonna bring our hands to our shins, and then exhale, hands down, step back into that high push-up, and exhale all the way down. From here, we're gonna inhale, shoulders and low ribs off the mat. Exhale, back into that high push-up, and then again, back to downward dog, which is like an upside down V. Let your head rest. Feet and hands are evenly pressed into the mat. From here, we're gonna take an inhale, and then exhale again, walk your feet towards your hands. With your knees bent, we'll come back up to a standing pose. From here, we're gonna have, come to the front of our mat, placing your hands on your hips, and we're just gonna step our left foot back towards the back of the mat. There should be about 4 feet in between front and back, and maybe a couple, like a foot or two side to side. You don't wanna feel like you're walking on a tightrope. So inhale here, hands on your hips. From here, we're gonna bring our arms up over our head, and we're just gonna exhale into a high lunge. So you're gonna bend your front knee, you're gonna press into the back foot, and then just look down to make sure that your knee is over your ankle. You don't want it to be too far forward or too far back. And from here, we'll bring our hands to our heart center, and then just straighten that front leg. So take an inhale here, and then exhale, bending that front knee again. And one more time, straighten. And now you're just gonna step that back foot up to the front of the mat, and we'll switch sides. So let your right foot step back towards the back of your mat, left foot forward. We're gonna come on to the top of that back right foot. Take an inhale here, fill your lungs, fill up, and then exhale forward. Let that front knee bend, knee over ankle, and then you're pressing into that top of that back foot. So take an inhale, and then exhale, just straighten your front leg. One more inhale, and then exhale, bend that front knee. One more time, we'll inhale, come up, and then just step to the front of the mat. So place your hands on your hips. We're gonna come into some balancing poses. So the best thing to do when we're doing any balancing pose is to find something, it's called a drishti in yoga, but it's really just a focal point, maybe 3 or 4 feet in front of you, and find something that doesn't move. Because if you're looking at something that does move, like if you were in a yoga class and you're watching someone else and they fall out of their pose, 90% chance that you will too. So I always kind of use the metaphor that when we're focused on our own mat, not looking at anyone else, we have so much more stability and balance. So inhale, hands on your hips, and then we're gonna be using our right leg as our standing leg. So bring the sole of your left foot into your inner thigh, and just press your foot into your thigh and your thigh into your foot. And by doing that, that really helps keep your balance. So we're gonna have our hands at our heart. We're gonna just focus on that spot in front of us, and we'll take a few breaths here. Again, remember every inhale, feel those lungs get expanded, and then exhale. And we'll do one more inhale and exhale. And then we'll just come out of that, shake it out a little bit, and we'll just do the other side. So now you're gonna be balancing on that left leg. So you're gonna bring your right inner sole to your left inner thigh, and you're gonna be pressing them towards each other. That's gonna help with your balance and your stability. So hands at your heart center. Again, find that drishti, that focal point. Inhale, fill your lungs, inhale with oxygen, and then exhale. And one more time, inhale and exhale. And now we'll come out of this pose. Again, shaking your legs out a little bit. Let your hands come to your side. And from here, we're gonna come into one more balance pose. So step a little bit further away, maybe towards the center of your mat. And we're gonna bring our hands again to our heart center, balancing beginning on our right leg. So bring your left knee into your chest, and then you can flex that left foot as well. We wanna feel that engaged. So take a breath here, and then we're gonna exhale into Warrior 3 pose. So you wanna move really slowly, almost like you're moving through water. So we'll take that breath here, knee into the chest, and then exhale. We're gonna come forward into like a capital T so that your shoulders and your hips are parallel to the ground. That left leg is behind you and it's flexed and engaged. And then from here, without letting it come down, we're gonna try to bring it back into our chest. And we're gonna do that 2 more times. So inhale, take a breath. Exhale, let that leg come behind you, chest and shoulders facing the ground. Remember to breathe. And then again, we'll inhale, knee up to the chest. Let that breath go. And our last time on this side, inhale, knee up to the chest, and then exhale really slowly. Let the chest and hips come towards the ground, finding your focal point. And then inhale, knee up to the chest, and we'll set that down. So we're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. Sometimes when we're doing balancing poses, we're focusing on the leg that's up in the air. It's also really important to balance or to focus on the leg that's keeping us strong and balanced. So this time we're gonna bring our right knee into our chest, balancing on our left leg. Feel that support and the strength in your left leg. If you bring your kneecap on a standing leg, make it feel like it's coming up towards your hip. That can really engage the quad and help you with your balance. So right knee into chest, take an inhale, and then exhale, coming forward, letting your chest and hips go towards the ground, finding that focal point. And again, the right leg, which is up in the air, feel that foot flex so it's working. And then inhale, knee up to the chest. Again, exhale, coming back to this warrior 3 pose. Nice and slow, shoulders and hips facing the ground. The right leg is flexed and the right foot is flexed. And then last time, knee into the chest. Take an inhale, feel your lungs grow and expand, and exhale, coming back down, chest and hips facing the mat. And then we'll bring our knee into our chest and let that foot come down. Again, shake out your legs, shake out your arms a little bit. From here, feet again, hip distance. Your hips are facing the front, your hands are on your hips. And we're gonna just take a step back with our left foot. So right foot facing forward, left foot facing the front of the room. You're gonna bring your hands behind you and clasp your hands so that they're your low back. Let your shoulders come back, open your chest, almost like a small back bend. Again, you're gonna have about 3 to 4 feet in between front and back of your feet. Inhale, and then we're gonna exhale, bending that front knee. And now we're gonna come into a pose called Humble Warrior. You're just gonna let your chest come to the inside of that right leg and let your arms go over your head. Feel that stretch in your front and the back of your shoulders. Doesn't matter how far your hands come, just feel that stretch. And then we're gonna come back up. Let your hands go towards your back feet. Again, open your chest, and then we'll come up to straight and we'll just switch sides. So again, feet hip distance. You can start with your hands at your side or your hands on your hips. And now we're gonna step the right foot back, hands on your hips, left foot facing forward. Bring your hands again to your low back, clasp at your low back. Inhale, feel that chest open. Looking up, feel a small back bend. And then we're gonna exhale, bend that front knee. You're gonna let your chest come this time to the inside of the right knee. And let your arms go over your head. Feel that stretch again in your shoulders and your back. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, maybe go a little further. And then we're gonna come up to stand and we'll come to the front of the mat again. So now we're gonna step to, again, feet facing forward, hip distance. Step your right foot back, or your left foot back, I'm sorry, and your right foot forward. You're gonna bend that front knee. And this time you're gonna let your chest open so that it's facing the side of the room. You're gonna place your forearm, so your right forearm is gonna go on your right thigh. Your right knee is bent, your left leg is straight and it's pressing back. Then you're gonna bring your arm up towards the sky. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, let your arm come towards the front of the room. And you're gonna feel a really good stretch all along the left side of your body. Try to keep your chest open so that it's not collapsing, so that you can almost look up through your arm towards the sky. Take one more inhale here and exhale. And then we'll come back up and we'll switch sides. So this time you're gonna let your right foot step back, left foot is facing the front of the room. You're gonna turn your body so that your chest is facing the wall again. This time you're gonna let your left forearm come to your left thigh. You're gonna press into that right foot and feel that back leg strong and straight. And then let your right arm come up towards the sky. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, if it feels okay, just let that hand come towards the front of the room. You're gonna feel that stretch all along the right side of your body. Try to look up towards the sky. Inhale and exhale, and then we'll come to the front. And I always say in my classes to do what feels right for you. Anytime a yoga teacher gives you a suggestion, it is just that, a suggestion. So you really have to say what feels good for you, listen to your body, and if it doesn't feel right, then modify it or ask the teacher to help you modify for something that feels better. Because I say our bodies talk to us all the time, but we often refuse to listen to them, and that's when we start to get issues. So if we can really tune in and listen to what our bodies need, it works out well for us. So now we're gonna inhale, arms up over your head. We're gonna bring our hands, this time both of our hands to our back again. You're gonna step the width of your mat so that your feet are, each foot is at the edge of the mat. And then you're gonna bring your arms again back towards the floor, open your chest, and we're just gonna come into a forward fold. So if it feels better with your knees bent, you can have a slight bend in your knees or have them straight. And just let your arms kind of hang over your head a little bit. Feel that stretch. And we're gonna come back up to stand, feet about hip distance. From here, look down at your feet. Again, make sure that they're hip distance. You're gonna step your left foot behind you, this time just maybe 3 feet, 2 to 3 feet. And both feet are gonna be facing the front of the room this time. You're gonna bring your hands behind you. Either clasp your hands, or you can come into reverse namaste, which is reverse prayer pose. See what feels better for you, but you're gonna feel a stretch. You should feel a stretch in your shoulders. From here, look down at your right foot. Take a big inhale, feel that chest open. Look up towards the ceiling, feel a small back bend, get really long. And then exhale, we're just gonna come over that right foot, slowly. Pressing into your back foot as well. Make sure that you feel that your weight is evenly distributed between your front and back foot. And then every inhale, feel like you're getting a little longer in your spine. And every exhale, you're gonna go a little deeper in the bend. So one more inhale, get length, and exhale, fold forward over that right leg. And then we're gonna come up and just switch sides. So again, feet hip distance. Take a big inhale, just roll your shoulders out a little bit back, and then roll them forward a few times. And from here, we're just gonna switch sides. So step your right foot behind you, left foot facing the front of the room. Also, your right foot is facing the front. Again, maybe 2 to 3 feet in between. This time again, same thing. Either clasp your hands behind your back, or you can bring your hands into reverse prayer pose. Pressing evenly, your feet weighted, feel like your weight is evenly distributed on both feet. And then take an inhale, feel your chest open, small back bend, and then exhale, coming forward over that left foot. Again, pressing into with your right foot as well, feeling though your weight is evenly distributed. Inhale, get nice and long, and then exhale, come forward. One more inhale, and then exhale. And from here, we're just gonna come up to stand, and then roll it out again a few times. So now we're gonna make our way back to the mat, seated, and we're gonna do a couple stretches on the floor. But first we'll do some squat poses. So now you're gonna let your feet go the width of your mat, let your toes come out and your heels come in slightly. You're gonna bring your hands to your heart center again. And then we're gonna do 2 squats, and at the second one, we'll come down to a seat. So as we come in and out of the squats, you wanna make sure that your knees are always pressing away from you. When they come in is when you start to get some too much pressure on the knee joint, and so that's where you can start to get injuries. So hands at heart center, take a big inhale, and then we're gonna exhale into the squat, letting your knees go wide, pressing away. You can even use your elbows to press into your knees and feel that stretch. Maybe go side to side a little bit. And then we're gonna stand up the same way, knees going out. Take one more inhale. And then as we exhale, we'll come into this squat. And again, you can press your elbows into your knees, go side to side, feel that good stretch in your hips. And then from here, we'll just take a seat. So as we're seated here, we're gonna do some more stretching on the ground, and then we'll come into a nice relaxing Shavasana, resting pose. So let's bring your feet in front of you, legs straight, shake them out a little bit. In any pose you do in yoga, in a forward fold, you always wanna have a little bit of a bend in your knee because you don't wanna put too much pressure or hyperextend your knee. So legs about hip distance, so feet are hip distance, legs are straight. We're just gonna grab onto our toes with our fingertips. And if that doesn't work for you, just have your hands on the ground next to you to give yourself a little bit of leverage. But either way, we're just gonna take a nice inhale. Again, feel that length, feel your chest open, and then exhale, come into a forward fold. Just taking a breath or two here. Again, remember to inhale, and then exhale, you can come a little bit further. And then we'll come up to a straight. From here, you're gonna leave your left leg straight. You're gonna bring your right leg in so that the sole of your foot is at your inner thigh. You're gonna face the straight leg. So turn so that your torso is really facing over this straight leg in front of you. And we're gonna do the same thing. So inhale, get nice and tall. Feel like the top of your head is moving towards the ceiling. And then we're just gonna exhale into a forward fold. Again, holding onto your foot. You can have your hands on the mat, whatever feels better for you. Just take a couple breaths here. And again, remember, inhale, get length, and exhale, come down a little bit further. And then we'll come up and switch sides. So this time you're gonna have your right leg straight, left inner foot is at your inner thigh, your right inner thigh, turning your torso so that it's facing over your right foot. First, get nice and long, and then we're gonna come into a forward fold. Again, either holding onto your foot, hands on the mat, whatever works for you. Just remember to keep breathing. So inhale and exhale, get a little further. One more inhale and exhale, and then come back up to a seat. So from here, we're gonna do some twisting. And I always like to use the metaphor of twisting like with a sponge. When you get a sponge really wet and then you wring it out, all that excess water comes out. It's similar with our organs. When we do twisting in yoga, it kind of has that effect of wringing out our organs in a gentle way and getting rid of all the toxins in our body that we don't need and don't want. So from here, we're gonna come in, let your legs go straight, shake them out a little bit. You're gonna keep your left leg straight and you're just gonna bring your right foot over your left leg. And then this looks a little more complicated than it is, but it's really simple. Just bring your left foot in towards your butt so that you're seated with your right knee up. From here, you're gonna let your left leg go on your right knee. You're gonna use this right hand behind you almost like a kickstand. So get nice and tall, inhale up, and then we're just gonna exhale, twisting over to the right. And we're gonna take 3 breaths here. So inhale, get long, and exhale, twist. So every inhale is gonna be a little taller, and every exhale is gonna be a little deeper. Now, if you want a little more leverage, you could bring your left elbow over your right knee, either with your arms straight or bent, and then we're gonna take an inhale, and then exhale, twist deeper, looking over your right shoulder, and come back to center, and we'll just switch sides. So shake it out a little bit. This time you're gonna keep your right leg straight, let your left leg come over, and then again, bring this right foot in towards your left butt cheek. Inhale, get nice and tall, and then again, bring this left arm behind you, right hand on your left knee, and just use that to get nice and tall. Take a big inhale, and then exhale, twist, looking over your left shoulder. Again, you could bring your elbow on the outside of the knee, and just take one more inhale, nice and big here. Inhale, and exhale, twist. Now we're gonna come down to the floor. So I'm gonna go sideways. Let your head rest, let your knees bend. And from here, we're just gonna let your left leg go straight, right knee is gonna come into the chest, and then really slowly let this leg come over, and you're gonna have your arms out like a letter T. So your left leg is over your right leg, but you're gonna be looking at your left hand. So it's gonna be another gentle recline twist. Take one more inhale here, and exhale. And then we'll just switch sides. So knees bent, feet on the floor. Now you're gonna straighten your right leg, let your left knee come over, arms out like a capital T, and then you're just gonna look over at your left hand this time with a gentle twist. One more inhale and exhale. And then from here, you're gonna let your back come straight on the mat, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And this time you're just gonna let your knees gently go from left to right, pressing your low back into the mat. And then we'll do one more stretch and we'll come into our Shavasana resting pose. So both legs straight. We're gonna bring our knees into our chest, let your arms come, let your feet come up towards the sky. And now we're gonna let the left leg come down. We're just gonna grab onto the back of the right leg and bring that in towards us. You can either use your fingers on your toes or your hands on the back of your calf, whatever feels better for you. Just feel that gentle stretch in the back of your hamstring. And then we're gonna switch sides. So inhale, again, get long, and exhale, let that leg come towards you a little closer. And then from here, last thing we're gonna do is a little bit of core. We're just gonna come onto our forearms. So first, let's come onto our hands and knees. Make sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders, and that your knees are underneath your hips. From here, you're just gonna let your belly go towards the mat. You're gonna take an inhale and arch your back. And then we're gonna exhale, rounding it like a cat. Let your head come towards the mat, your neck relax. And we'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, arching your back, and exhale, rounding your back. One more, inhale, and exhale. And now from here, we're gonna come into a forearm plank. We're gonna hold that for 30 seconds. It's a really safe core work because it protects your low back. So from here, just bring your forearms to the mat. Let your feet go behind you. So you can either have your hands flat or you can have your arms clasped. But we're gonna hold this here. Make sure that your arms are pressing into the mat, your hands are pressing into the mat, and that your hips are shoulder height. So we're gonna hold this for another 20 seconds. Keep that core engaged. Keep pressing into the mat with your hands and with your feet. We're gonna hold this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then slowly bring your belly to the mat. Let your forearms press into the mat again. And then just feel like you're bringing your chest through the mat. We're just gonna give a gentle stretch to our abdominals. Inhale, get long. And then exhale, we're gonna come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. So come onto your backs. Laying flat all the way. Arms at your side. Feet long. Let your feet kind of just fall out to the side so that you're really comfortable. Arms resting at your side, palms facing up. Take an inhale here. And then exhale with your eyes closed. Just let your mind rest. We constantly have thoughts that come into our head, but the key is to kind of just let them go. Try not to hold on to any one thought. And once we let that go, another one may come, but then we just try to let that one go as well. So eyes closed, just inhale and exhale. Not controlled, just let your breath happen naturally. And then from here, just bring your arms up over your head. Let your feet go long towards the other side. Feel that opposition stretch on the sides of your body, the length that you created right now. And then from here, we're just gonna roll onto our your right side. Use your arm as a pillow. Just take a breath here in this birth posture. And then we're gonna come back up to a seat. With your legs crossed, just how we started. You can let your hands rest on your knees. Let your shoulders roll back 2 or 3 times. And then opposite direction. And then just close your eyes again. Inhale, feel that breath, feel your lungs fill up, and then exhale. And remember, your breath is that one thing that you can always take with you wherever you go, and it makes a difference. It definitely calms your nervous system and sends a message that things are safe and that you're okay. So from here, just bring your hands to your heart. Take an inhale here. And then bring your thumbs to your forehead, your third eye for clarity of thought, so that we think kind thoughts, first about ourselves and then about others. Bring your thumbs to your mouth for clarity of speech, so that we speak kind words, first to ourselves and then to others. And then bring your hands back to your heart for clarity of heart, so that you can walk off your mat into your day with an open heart. Namaste, which means the light in me recognizes the light in you. Thank you so much. I hope this was helpful to you, and have a great day.